Okay, now here I am with quick tips number 6, Nifty Nick-Nacks in a modeler. Now a lot of these tools are not a real secret, but they're a little bit hidden within Lightwave. A lot of these tips you can actually find on the New Tech forum, this sticky thread up here. Basic stuff Lightwave users should know, but are not so obvious. So thank you to every single user posting stuff in there. That has been a great help and a great thread for all of us, I believe. So I created this video in order to, pack some of these together to make it available to everybody. All right, let's just jump right in here. One of the things that is actually really interesting when we copy in any program, it's always the same story. It's Control-C, Control-V. By default, if we go into the edit menu, the paste tools here is assigned to Control-V, but there's also the paste tool. So we've got paste and the paste tool. The difference is, well, the paste tool gives us a lot more options. So if I Control-C this and then go to edit paste tool, then I can just click to create a copy. If I open up the numeric panel, you can see I've even got control over the scale and the position. And if I right click, I can create another copy, move it around wherever I want it to be, another right click, and there you go. That is the paste tool. And it works really well. The only problem is if you want to copy and paste to the exact same spot, then the regular paste tool is your friend. So replacing paste with the paste tool might not be that much of a good idea, but that depends on your workflow. Now another great little tool, hidden tool, is the fact that we can actually nudge geometry within Lightwave. The only thing we have to do is hold down the Alt key and then hit the arrow key. So you can go up, down, and so on. Super simple. It's just Alt and the arrow key, and you can nudge stuff around. Another annoying thing within Lightwave is that we cannot copy edges. So if I go into edge mode and I want to copy that edge and I hit Control-C, well, I get an error warning. Lightwave can't do that. The point is, it actually can. So if I would like to copy this edge, the only thing I would have to do is to use the copy edge command or plugin, which is actually part of default Lightwave. It's just, again, it's very well hidden. Best way to deal with that is to replace the regular copy with copy edge. The way to do that is you just go up here to edit keyboard shortcuts, and there you can see Control-C is linked to copy. If I unassign that, go up here and type in copy, we can find copy edges, right? And with this selected, I can just assign it to there. Done. And now if I hit Control on the keyboard, I'm not getting an error message anymore. I'm just gonna go to a new layer, Control-V, and there I have it. I've successfully pasted or copy pasted an edge in Lightwave. Another little thing that we probably all know about somehow, but I guess that most of us never really realized it. When you use the stretch tool and you hold down the Control key to constrain the movement, Control key is pressed, and now if I drag to the right, it stretches to that axis, or up and down. But it actually does the same thing if I move my mouse diagonally. So Control is still pressed, click and drag, see, and now it stretches all the points out, so it scales them. That's what you could say. Another nifty little trick is, well, normally in Lightwave we're not able to simply split an edge. Well, at least we cannot do it with a knife tool. We get an error message. But there's a very, very simple way to split an edge right down the middle. The only thing we have to do is to use the connect tool, or L, on the keyboard. And there we go. I got a point there, right down the middle. So with that, we can simply split an edge. Very helpful. Another thing not everybody might be aware of is the info panel within Lightwave. So for example, if I just select this point here and hit I on the keyboard, I get this. So I get an info panel that tells me the position of the point in this case. So you can see 0 is Y, X 1.65 meters, and so on. If you would like to copy these, you're just going to have to click on here And you can copy that value and use it to move it wherever you would like to move it. All right, so that's the info panel, very, very handy. Another tool that we probably all know is the layers panel. Let me just bring up the panel with F7. There we go. Right now I only have one layer, so let me just quickly, copy this, paste it there. I actually had another layer with the edge I created before, and one more, move this around. Okay, now we've got 4 layers. If I open this up, they all are named so far. If I would like to select all of the layers, the only thing I need to do is to click here, and all the layers are selected. And of course, I can do the same thing with the background layers. One layer is the foreground layer, and if I click up here, I can select all the others as a background layer. And that's very often pretty helpful, at least in my opinion. One more little hidden thing within Lightwave, if I hit D to open up the display options and I go to viewports, you got top left, top right, bottom left and bottom right. One thing that probably very, very few of us have ever used is the fact that we can rotate the separate viewports. So let's say if I want to have the bottom left viewport rotated by 90 degrees, I can simply do that. So sometimes, specifically when you work with reference images, this is actually a very simple and cool trick to save some time, and it might take a little while to get used to it, but it is handy sometimes. Okay, one more very, very useful thing, at least in my opinion. Let me just quickly create a box here. 111, there we go, there's our box. If I would like to work with a model, and sometimes I would like to see a textured mode, and sometimes I would like to see the wireframe textured mode. Switching back and forth all of the time can be really, really annoying. So what we can do, if I open up the display options again, we can actually change the quad to a double. There we go, let me close these all down. And now what I can do, see on the right hand side, I've got this textured wire. On the left hand side, I've got it simply shaded. So like that, I can work on one side, move stuff around, and on the left hand side, I can actually see how it would look without the wires. And specifically with dense meshes, that can be really, really helpful. So yeah, there we go. That's another neat little trick. Let's change this back to quad. All right, one more thing. Well, there is a way how we can avoid constantly having to switch from texture to textured wire and back again. Because by the way Lightwave is set up, we cannot just simply set a hotkey for that and do it like that. But there's another way how we can do that. So right now I'm in texture view, and if I just hit, in my case now, the one key on the keypad, right? It works only on the keypad. If I hit the one key, you can see it switches to wire mode. If you're going to do that now on your keyboard, it's not going to work because you will have to set that up. So basically what you do is you set up the viewport as you like it, in this case textured wired, and the only thing you're going to have to do is hit Control 1 on the keypad. Give it a name, and then you can save that. Then for example, Control 2, you could change this now to texture mode. Control 2, save it there, give it a name. I'm going to cancel this, and then if you hit the 1 key on the keyboard, we've got textured wire. 2 key is textured. Super helpful when you are doing long modeling sessions. The last tip I would like to show you is a very simple one. This is about selecting previous and next layer. By default, that is assigned to the previous image, next image key on the keyboard. I personally have set it up to the arrow keys, arrow and shift arrow. Why? Because I like to have my shortcuts available with one hand, the left hand, because I work with a tablet. So in my case, it's arrow, and you can see I'm switching the layers like that easily. You can do the same thing with the bank, by the way. I'm in here, the layer panel, and you can see you can do the same thing with the banks down here. Next bank, previous bank. But you're going to have to assign that to a shortcut. So I hope that helped you, and I will see you very soon with the next video. Thank you very much.